Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. The PTS for Dead by Daylight dropped today. They introduced a new killer and survivor. I know the killer name is Blight. I don't know the survivor's name, but we will be going into the backstories of both of these characters to see who they are so we can get an introduction. I will be streaming this on my Twitch, I think on Wednesday, to see how the killer plays. And it's gonna be it will be kill my friend. So we're gonna get a squad together to try to see how this in Survivor plays and see if they are actually worth getting. If this is like a DLC pack, I'm not even sure if you have to buy this killer, but most likely you probably would have to buy this killer. But yeah, we're gonna try them out. I think we can on the PTS. We could try them out for free without like any purchase. So I do want to do this on Wednesday if it's possible. I have my Twitch down below, the link down below if you guys want to check us out when we stream this. Okay, so here is the new content pop-up. It says Chapter 17. Welcome to the public test build for Chapter 17. Please read below for a quick summary of the new content you'll find on the PTB. And it says the Blight is the killer and Felix Richard is the survivor. And then here are the features: visual updates on the incoming in-game objects, generator, pallets, lockers, and chests, which we have been waiting for a while. Visual updates and unbreakable visual updates and unbreakable walls added to some realms, Springwood and the Yamaka estate. Appearance rate of these realms is increased for the first time in the PTB. Added new offerings affecting realm, basement, and hatch spawns. Okay. Known issues: disturbed ward map, disabled on the PT due to existing bug. The nightmare issue with lighting in the estate in Springwood realms when using the nightmare as the killer. Please refrain from using him during the beta. So they're warning you against some issues. So if you guys see any bugs, please report them. And of course, it's being reset. So let's go to Ask Killer first, because we all know we're all interested on who the killer is, and let's read up on them. And you, Blight. Wait, I think Blight is actually, or is it because it's just the beta or the public test? Is that the reason why? Because he's not grayed out like for everyone who's in the base game. So is he base game? I mean, that'd be amazing if he is, because I want to continue on even after it comes out. I want to continue on trying to learn him. Let me see. The difficulty is intermediate. As unpredictable killer, able to rush forward in a burst of speed and carom off obstacles to injure survivors using his power, Blighted Corruption. His personal perks: Dragon's Grip, Hex Undying, and Hex Blood Favor, allowing him to impose powerful effects on generators, totems, and pallets. He looks cool. Can we? Yeah, we can take a look at him by spinning him around. All right. I can't wait to see what his backstory is. Let's see. All right, here's the character information, the backstory. To understand the human condition, one must rise above it. This was the credo of Talbot Grimes, a Scottish chemist whose unrestrained ambition took him to towering heights. As a boy, he was an unpopular child, bright, charismatic, and unafraid to challenge authority. Yet, despite his social grace, he was fiercely independent, spending much of his time exploring the spine fields near his town alone. What began as a child's curiosity nearly turned deadly after experimenting with a batch of poisonous foxglove. For days he laid in bed, dripping with sweat, purging any food that touched his stomach. When he recovered, it wasn't fear that gripped him, but fascination. There was something magical in how a single flower could so drastically affect him. In his adult years, his ambition developed as quickly as his questionable methods. He attended the London School of Medicine and excelled despite several reprimands. His willingness to push the limits secured him a position with the British India Company, and within 7 years he was made head chemist. In time, he completed one of his greatest achievements, a chemical that could increase a worker's productivity while reducing their need for rest. Okay, he was rewarded with a secret laboratory beneath a prison camp on Dyer Island. There, off the coast of India, prisoners from the Opium War became his unwilling subjects, leading to a drug that allowed soldiers to withstand incredible amounts of pain. Though most side, though most side effects were minor, there were rumors that a small number of soldiers went mad. In states, in feral states, they massacred villages, impaled the populace on bayonets, leaving them hanging from the trees. There were no official reports on the subject, and Talbot refused to blame himself for what could only be exaggerated war stories. Though he college through oh wait, though I think it's supposed to be through his callous brilliance seemed unfathomable. He was ignorant to the enemies his questionable work had amassed. The realization struck him quite literally with a steel pipe in the back of his head during a trip to Mangalore. He was bound and loaded into a wagon. When his blindfold was removed, a sickly man showed him a mass grave filled with hundreds of bodies. Unbeknownst to Talbot, his productivity increasing drug had killed nearly an entire factory worth of workers. He knew he couldn't defend himself against the anger and accusations of his abductor. All he could do was curl up as the blows from the steel pipe ran down. His body was thrown into a grave and left for dead. Shifting between consciousness and the darkest black, he clawed for a he he crawled for an escape, fingers shrinking into rotting flesh. Black flies feasted on his uncovered skin, the sense of 100 pin pricks stabbing into him. This is very graphic. As he collapsed, he became face to face with a dead woman's dazzling hazel eyes. Too weak to pull away, he could do nothing but witness his life's work. Then, from the edge of death, he was brought back. He found himself on a small bed as a kindly wrinkled face looked over him. With each pained breath, he was nursed back to health in an ancient mystery school posing as a monastery. In verdant gardens, behind tall, unassuming walls, monks studied forbidden texts, striving to explain the human mind in this search for other dimensions, believing one to be connected to the other. Tobot's knowledge proved indismissible, his mind-altering chemicals integrating seamlessly with the theories of natural expansion. He realized then that his salvation was no coincidence. He was plucked from the pit specifically to advance the school's knowledge. He agreed to help with his until his recovery was complete, being tasked with researching what the monks called the soul chemical, a compound derived from the pineal gland that could open the mind's eye. What began as favor to his survivors. Sorry. What began as a favor to his saviors soon became an obsession. Poring over the school's archives of lost texts, he uncovered scientific formulas that confirmed previously unthinkable ideas. He dreamt of ushering humankind into a new period of enlightenment. Perhaps then the nightmare of hundreds of dead factory workers and of those two hazel eyes would fade from his mind. As he came closer to a breakthrough, the demeanor of the monks shifted. The gentle smiles they offered were paired with uneasy eyes that quickly darted away when spotted. The polite conversation he was once privy to turned to hushed murmurs. The last thing he would see of the school was the cracked ceiling above his bed, branching like a dendrite through plaster. His next memories were a shattered mosaic of images and sensations, smearing lights, horse hooves on cobblestone, coarse burlap scratching at his cheeks, and sharp bites into his arm. He awoke ragged and unwashed, splayed on a straw mattress of an opium den. Mine in a dense fog, his first thought was of his notes, the only record of his groundbreaking revelations. He searched frantically, scrambled through the dingy basement, pleading out loud for help. The other denizens looked up from their hammocks, offering nothing but drug soaked eyes and empathetic gazes that soon fell into half slumber. Before he noticed the robed figure appearing behind him, a needle plunged into his arm, and the world disappeared once more. Awoken again, each time hazier than the last, he tongued a hollow gasp between his teeth. How long, he wondered. A faint memory returned. The soul chemical, his notes, the verge of a breakthrough, a faraway whisper into his mind. He fumbled with a stone, sharpening it and with shaking hands. In the dim light of the den, amongst the catatonic occupants, he carved his research from memory into the walls. He wrote for hours until his fingers bled, moving to the floor, taking everything the voice whispered despite his inability to comprehend it. When there was nothing left to write, he gripped the stone and carved the message into his chest. Stained with blood, he witnessed a miracle appear before him, a magnificent field of lush orange flowers. The whispered voice beckoned to him, urging him to enter the field and discover worlds and dimensions beyond human comprehension. For a moment, Talbot felt the sense of wonder he possessed as a child. The denizens of the opium den awoke to silence, the dry scent of smoke still lingering in the air. Shambling out of their drug haze fog, they found the stone floor wet with blood, tiny rivulets coursing through the cracks. As eyes adjusted to the darkened room, the jagged lettering scrawled along its lengthened. Wait. As the eyes adjusted, the darkened form, the jagged lettering scrawled along its lengthen began to appear. Written over and over without end, there was but one single line: death is only the beginning. That was. I've never, ever have read the backstory of a killer. The writing is amazing. And that whole, oh my God. Oh my God. You see the shock look on my face right now? This is real. This is my real reaction to this backstory. This is absolutely insane. Oh my gosh. Okay. Whew. Okay, so let's go over the perks. Dragon's Grip. Teachable, the Blight perk, which means that in the Blood Web, you could actually unlock this as a teachable perk for other killers. After kicking a generator for the next 30 seconds, the first survivor that interacts with it will scream, revealing their location for 4 seconds and becoming inflicted with exposed status for 60 seconds. Oh my god! Dragon's Grip has a cooldown of 120 seconds. Oh my god. Okay, so that means you have to, like, when you see a generation get kicked by this man, do not touch it for 30 seconds. It's a trap. Oh my goodness. Hex Blood Favor. Teachable, the Blight perk. Unlocking this perk makes it available in the Blood Well for all killers. Is that the same thing for this one? Yes, so I was right. A hex that gains the entity's favor when blood is spilled. When a survivor is hit, pallets within 16 meters of your location are held in place by the entity for 15 seconds. These pallets cannot be pulled down? What in the... Oh my god! Hex Blood Favor has a cooldown of 60 seconds. Oh my god, this killer right now is for sweaties. Hex Undying. It's another teachable perk. A hex which maintains the vile power that flows through the trial. While Hex Undying is active, survivors within 2 meters of any totem has their aura revealed for 4 seconds. So that means if you're working on a totem, you will be seen. You will be seen. When another hex totem is cleansed, the hex transfers to an available dull totem, losing any tokens in the process. So when you break the hex totem, it just transfers to another totem. That's why you have to get all the totems you see on the map. Every totem, even if it's not glowing, take it down. Oh my god. This killer is, this killer is definitely for sweaties. Let me see. This is the power. Let me see. This is a serum coursing through his veins, corrupting his mind and body, yet granting him unnatural physical abilities. Special ability, Rush. Push the power button to quickly rush forward. Doing so consumes a rush token. While performing rush, the Blight cannot launch an attack. Rush into a wall or obstacle in the environment to slam into it. If rush fails to connect with a wall or obstacle, or if the Blight is out of the rush tokens, he will enter a short fatigue state and begin recharging the tokens. Special attack. Lethal Rush. Following a slam, press the power button to launch a Lethal Rush. Doing so consumes a rush token. A Lethal Rush behaves the same as a rush, except that the Blight may launch an attack by pressing the attack button. Okay, so it seems as if the killer goes into a rush state, any wall or obstacle can be slammed into and possibly broken. I wonder if that means for pallets. If the pallet is down and you go into a rush state, will you break that pallet? I wonder. I don't know. I wonder. All right. So this is all for the killer. Now let's go to the survivor. Okay, so now we're over to the survivor. This is Felix Richter. A visionary, he's also intermediate, a visionary architect, able to use his relentless determination to form a plan and help other survivors. His personal perks, visionary, desperate measures, and built to last, help him reveal generators, rescue survivors, and get the most from his tools. Okay, let's look at his information. Well, no, first of all, sorry about that. Give me a second. Go back. Let's see what he looks like. All right, so he has short blonde hair. He's wearing a blue, look like a blue suit. I'm very interested on seeing what his future skins look like. Okay, so let's read into Felix's backstory. Felix Richter was born to Janos and Ursula Richter in Coburg, Germany, where the Richter family had deep connections and were among the most respected of its physicians. His parents, both members of an ancient society, were always out of the Richter manner at medical conferences or providing humanitarian aid around the world. Traveling exposed young Felix to new cultures, languages, and architecture, unlike anything he had seen before. He wasn't sure when the architectural bug bit, but when it did, it bit hard. And he knew that despite his family's legacy, he would one day design buildings that would inspire the world. By 23, he was considered an architectural prodigy, having won the Swiss Architect Medal and the German National Design Award. Yet, despite his success, Felix couldn't shake the gnawing feeling that his success had more to do with luck and connections and talent and hard work. Growing up, Felix was socially awkward and introverted, preferring his imagination to the company of others. He had few friends, so when he wasn't traveling with his parents, Felix was in his father's library, devouring rare books, studying history and architecture, soaking up anything and everything he could on architectural movements throughout the centuries. His father hoped young Felix would learn to be more outgoing and hired every possible specialist to help improve his social skills. Being an introvert is not a bad thing. When these efforts failed, he threw in the proverbial towel and figured his son could learn when he was ready. He then joined young Felix in the library, where he helped him build elaborate wooden models of buildings while telling him wild stories about his secret club and their ancient battle against a dark and ominous force. Stories Felix was sure his father had made up to make his imperative group sound cooler than what it actually was. Felix sometimes wondered if his design sensibilities came from his summer's trips to Dyer Island, a private island that boasted some of the world's finest homes and designs. Every summer, Felix would accompany his parents to the island where members of the imprimarty would encourage their children to network and forge lifelong connections. Felix didn't mingle well with the other teenagers, but he did make four friends who, like himself, didn't quite fit the high society mold. They were often ridiculed by other teens and disparagingly called the Farians. The Ferras. The Farias? I suck at mispronunciations if you have not noticed, okay? A name they liked and gladly adopted. Instead of practicing public speaking and engaging in endless debates, the Farias spent most of their time exploring the ruins and mysteries of the island until one of their adventures took a turn for the worse. Exploring and abandoned interment camp, they descended into what seemed to be an underground laboratory where they uncovered old leather journals with illustrations and notes of inhuman experiments. conducted of prisoners of the First Opium War, held by the British East Indian Company. So this is where their fates intermingle. As they pushed through a locked door, they found a chamber scattered with human skeletons and dusted vials filled with an unknown serum. Before they could examine the contents, the ground seemed to shake beneath their feet and the hissing sound filled their ears. A strange fog suddenly appeared, and giant claws seemed to burst from the ground as dark imagination mingled with reality to terrorize them. Before they before they understood what was happening, Felix's father and several other parents came to their rescue using strange tools and objects to protect them. Felix stared at the scene in shock and disbelief. He wasn't sure if he was dreaming or living one of his father's ridiculous supernatural stories. By the time he realized it wasn't a dream, it was all over. The fairies were safe, but the parents had mysteriously disappeared without a trace. After the shock of his father's disappearance, Felix searched for any theory that could help him understand the phenomenon he had encountered on the island. He exchanged notes with the fairies and other people he had met online who had also lost loved ones in a similar way. The tragedy had fostered a strong relationship between the fairies, and for years they worked together to unravel the mystery of what had happened to their parents. But nothing made sense, and every lead they pursued hit a dead end. With time, with time, their efforts dwindled, and the five friends slowly grew apart, each going their separate ways, hoping to forget the nameless darkness that had robbed them of their parents. Over the years, Felix proved to be an exceptional architect, though he found little inspiration working for others. He realized his father was right. His lack of social skills was holding him back. With dedicated with dedication and purpose, he improved his diction and decorum and learned how to network and play act, as he liked to call it. He created the perfect facade to make himself more likable and popular with potential clients. After working for several architectural firms, he established his firm with his colleague Lauren Golder. Both shared a similar vision and were philosophically opposed to formulaic modernistic buildings, often experimenting with unusual materials, shapes, and structures. Phyllis continued to undermine traditional expectations in favor of the edgy and unconventional devices that set the architectural world abuzz. But even with all the accolades, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was a phony, like an actor who had learned a part instead of a true architect who had inspired the world with an impeccable design. During these moments of insecurity and self doubt, he would distract himself with endless parties and drown his anxieties in alcohol, wishing his father was still around for some harsh advice and tempered wisdom. Eventually, Felix's girlfriend announced that he was going to be a father. The news shook him to the core, and wanting to inspire his unborn child as much as his father inspired him, he quickly pulled his life together. What he needed was a project that would challenge him and cement his worth as an architect. As fate will have it, the perfect opportunity presented itself when old friends of his father commissioned his firm, Richard and Golder, to build something new and unconventional on Dyer Island. The challenge excited and terrified Felix, who now drowned his anxieties with articles and books on parenting. Within 6 months, the Dyer restoration project was underway, and as Felix surveyed the island, he suddenly heard a familiar voice calling out to him from beyond the shattered Victorian buildings and the crumbling ruins, hiding dark stories along hidden and forgotten, long hidden and forgotten. Through a strange gathering fog, he saw a form slowly taking shape. His eyes widened and his lips parted, but no words issued forth. Could it be? Was it possible? No, it couldn't be. It was impossible, and yet, with dawning realization, Felix staggered back as he watched his father emerge from the fog. His legs felt weak, and his rising heartbeat thrashed in his ears. It was him. It was really him. His unborn child would know his grandfather, and he could finally show him how much he had accomplished since he disappeared. They stared at one another for a long time. Then his father gave him a look of disappointment, turned his back on him, and proceeded to walk away. Over his pounding heart, Felix chased after him and was never seen again. Wow. Oh my gosh. So, Felix losing his father really affected him as it would anybody. But I'm thinking like the entity tricked Felix into coming into the world of Dead by Daylight by using the form of his father, because it tried to grab him when he was younger, but his parents saved him. And now that he's back to the island, it tried again, but this time succeeded by using the form of his father. That, man, these stories are heavy. These stories are seriously heavy, but they are well written and I am enjoying them. Okay, so these perks are also teachable. This is called visionary. Your remarkable focus on your means of escape. You see generated errors within 32 meters. Anytime a generator is completed, visionary has a cooldown of 20 seconds. Okay, that's awesome. I like that. Let me see. Desperate measures. You refuse to fail even during your darkest hour. For each injured, hooked, or dying survivor, increases the speed of your healing and unhooked actions by 10%. I like that. Next one is the built to last. You know how to get the most out of your tools. Once per trial, a depleted item will refill 30% of its charges after 10 seconds. Once per trial. Oh, okay, I like that. Okay, so because I mostly use the toolbox. So after I deplete my toolbox, like it it refills it, but it's only one time. So only one time throughout the entire match. It will refill 30% after 10 seconds. I like that. I like that perk. Excuse me. I like that perk. I really like that perk. Okay. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. The stories of the killer and the survivor are amazing. I really enjoyed reading them. Let me know if you want me to do this for future killer and survivor releases. The killer is, oh my god, the killer is so sweaty and could possibly be OP to me. I don't know, with the whole generator thing, like that's gonna suck. That's gonna suck for all survivors when you have him as your killer. Oh my gosh. But I do like that the survivor can see the generators to 32 meters. So because some of these maps, especially the what is it? Is it the Stranger Things map? It's really hard to find generators on that map. I think that's the indoor map where it has a little basement, whatever. It's really hard to find maps, and also the doctor map too, the ward. That's also hard to find generators on there too. So having that perk to use is going to be very useful. I'm going to be very happy to have that perk. That is for certain. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit the like button. Subscribe for more videos in the future. Remember, I do stream on Twitch. My link is down below if you would like to watch me play. I am a variety streamer. I stream all types of games. And I will see you guys in the next video. You guys have a great day.